Legends by Mr. Shadow. Legend says that all skinwalkers are vile creatures that simply murder and ravage everything they come across. This couldn't be farther from the truth. Skinwalkers are usually portrayed as evil witches from the Navajo tribes. They usually transform into a near-perfect, but still flawed version of whatever they kill. But not all skinwalkers are like this. There are a portion of skinwalkers that aren't witch doctors. They still transform into whatever they kill, but they don't do it on purpose. These skinwalkers have become what they are due to being broken. They've lost their loved ones, lost their possessions, and finally lost their hope. They've decided it would be best to end their lives, and the universe punishes them for this decision. I had a good life for the most part. I had a good job working at a car factory. My wife was pregnant with our first child. My life was good. I had everything I'd ever wanted. But as you probably know, life is not perfect. Abby gave birth to our child 2 years ago. I was elated until the doctor told us the baby had died shortly after birth. Abby's heart was torn out. I could barely breathe. The loss of our child prompted Abby to go into a state of depression. After a year of trying hard to keep it together, Abby left me. The loss of my child and my wife tore out my heart. This wasn't the end yet. After 6 months of trying to keep my sanity together, my boss finally told me that he'd had enough of my slacking at work and my crying in the break room. He said he understood I had gone through horrible loss, but I needed to work when I was at work. The loss of my job prompted the loss of my house and all my possessions, which had to be sold in order to keep my car. I had finally had enough. I sold my car, gave most of my money to my parents, and bought a revolver. I had had enough of the endless sorrow that fate had decided to put me through. When I got home, I didn't hesitate. I put the gun in my mouth and pulled the trigger. Instead of dying, I felt myself changing. I felt my soul leave my body. I felt an emptiness in my core. I looked at my hands and saw claws growing from the tips of my fingers. I left my house that night, unsure of what had happened. I felt drawn to the woods. I felt strong but weak, fast but slow. Instinct told me what to do as a man jogged past on the trail before me. I cried as I tore the man in two. I cried as I felt my body change into a match of his. I cried as I made my way out of the forest. But I stopped crying when I figured out a way to fix my suffering. I found your stockbroker. I dragged him through the woods and impaled him on a branch. I went to the stock market in his skin and sold every single stock you owned for nothing. Then I found your banker. I drowned him in the river. I used him to take your home when you couldn't make the mortgage payments. And finally, I found your boyfriend. I took my time with him. I slowly disemboweled him with my claws while he was still alive. Then I hung him from a tree by his own entrails. And now I'm coming for you, my dear sweet Abby. After I make you think your boyfriend is leaving you, I'll whisper in your ear at night that you should end it all. And when you do, I'll be by your side when you awake, and we will be together forever as skinwalkers. Love, Sam, your skinwalker forever. A special thanks goes out to Mr. Shadow for allowing me to record the story and the kind feedback he gave me, and also to Kyler, Ranting Monkey, and Sinatra for listening to it and their feedback, as well as a few others that were so kind and generous in their time and feedback on the story. I look forward to the next time I can pull up a nice narration or creepypasta for you.